Hello everybody, I'm 8-Bit Steve, and this is another 8-Bit episode of Steve's Quest. This is game number 121, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Overall, I think this game's pretty decent. It's got some frustrating parts to it, though. Mostly, it seems kind of lazily programmed. It's not bad, but just the way the enemies move, the jumping, it's a little strange to get used to at first. Another thing that I do not like, that I've voiced before from other games, is this game is a one-hit kill, so anything that touches you, you die. And I just don't believe in those kinds of games, especially for casual gamers. Guys who do speedrunning, or people like me, sure, who can go through the game or the entire level without taking any damage. I just feel like it's a lot more fun when there's a life bar and you can make a few mistakes in the level. It feels a lot less frustrating. I'm going to try to use a little trick here where I get the invincibility and use it on the boss. Like this. That makes quick work of him. Another problem with this game is it's a lot of memorization, which is really a lot of the NES games, to be honest. A lot of waiting around, like in sections like this, where I just want to wait for this guy to get by me. Something kind of interesting about that part is sometimes when those squid guys shoot you, you actually turn, Tom Sawyer will turn into like a blue sprite, like he's full of, covered in ink. I'm not really sure what qualifies, whether he turns into ink or dies, because sometimes they'll hit me and I'll die, and sometimes they'll turn into ink, so. This boss is real simple. If you get really close to it, just basically spam attack. And that's the first level. This level took me quite a while to figure out. I was playing it for probably about 2 hours, and then I decided to watch the world record run of this game, and I realized something really silly that I wasn't doing that made the level a lot easier. And we'll get to that, but this is basically just an auto-scroller. There's not a whole lot of substance to it. So Tom Sawyer basically has two moves here. Well, I can move around with the D-pad. I can jump by hitting the A button, which you're going to see here. Now, something kind of weird is when I'm jumping in the air, I can actually move Tom Sawyer around. So you can actually miss landing on your raft, which is a really poor design in my opinion. Sure, it makes it harder, but it just, there's really no reason for it, because you're never going to want to move once you jump. Alright, so here's the thing that I didn't realize at first, is I can actually jump over those little things that knock you off your raft. I assumed the raft would get caught on them, but I guess it doesn't, and you can just jump over them, which makes that part a lot easier. Before that, I was actually maneuvering my raft around them, or trying to time it, and it was just way too hard. And later on, there's going to be some more difficult jumps that have that particular mechanic with the Super Mario poles, or I don't even know what you would call those things. So here's another little power-up that you can get. This turns your slingshot into a more powerful slingshot, but it's pretty much useless on this part of the game. And for some reason the game decides to give you 4 of the power-up in a row here, or 5 actually with this guy. I have really no reason why. I really can't understand why they would want to do that there. Now you can float in those discolored water areas there, but you don't want to touch the green seaweed. That'll stop your raft. And obviously you definitely don't want to go into those little whirlpools. Now, I never read the novel, Tom Sawyer, so I'm not sure how well this follows the novel. I'm going to guess not at all. That was actually pretty unfortunate for me. So the strategy on those guys that throw things is to get as far up the screen as possible, so that way when they throw something at you, you can actually be on the same plane or level as them. So that way they only throw one thing. That time it looked like I was just a little bit too low, and he was able to throw another shot at me, and we definitely don't want that. And it took me completely by surprise there, because he's not supposed to do that. I thought I was high enough. I do like the fact that they tried to mix in, you know, a top-down stage, and they just didn't make the whole thing platforming. At least there's that. So see, what I'm going to do here is get past him, and he won't shoot me once I've gotten past him. So this guy's going to throw one shot like that. And I'm going to do the same thing to these guys here. This part was a complete nightmare at first until I learned what to do. Being close to the top edge of the screen here basically prevents them from shooting a second shot. And that'll take us to the second boss, which is a crocodile. A huge crocodile. Not a big fan of this boss design. It's way too difficult to hit the boss. So I have to hit the boss in his tongue, and his teeth block it. So I can shoot him directly in front of him, right between his two front teeth, or from the side a little bit. But as you can see, it's really hard to hit the boss like that. I mean, I don't know, it just seems very poor to me to do that. It's not fun at all. And had I not known that, I'd be shooting at this boss forever, trying to figure out where to hit him at. And then on top of that, you have these little tornadoes basically knocking you right out of position for where you want to be to line up to hit the boss. So alright, now we're back to platforming. This is a pretty basic platforming level. You know, overall the music's not too bad. It's a little repetitive, but I've heard way worse. So at least they put some time into that. This is a little warp section. Now eventually you have to let go of this guy because he'll walk you right into an enemy if you let him keep carrying you. I was being really cautious there. There's a, I don't know, what, a koala bear up here. Yeah, that guy. So I'm just gonna run past him this time. That's the one that's the problem right there. That's okay. We're gonna get him this time, I'm pretty sure. What I have to do is wait here for a second. So this is some sort of Voltron gorilla boss where all these monkeys transform into a giant gorilla. I'm not really sure how that works, but if you time this perfectly, you can keep hitting him every time before he shoots. But I missed one there. Alright, moving on to a sort of a Transylvania spooky castle stage. So these candles are super annoying. They don't have any rhyme or reason to when they shoot. Sometimes they'll shoot out fire, sometimes they won't. And it'll just kill you because you're not ready for it. And that fire stays on the ground for a very long time, and if you touch it, you obviously you die, just like everything in this game. Little mini boss there. So getting the slingshot power up here is very helpful. It allows you to speed through this section easier than if you have the regular shot. Because the annoying thing about the regular shot is that it's arched, and it's difficult to hit right where you want to without practice. Accidentally hit pause there. Alright, that boss is done. We're going to move on to the final boss of this section. Now, something kind of annoying. This final boss of the section here, you have to have the arch shot. If you have the powered up slingshot, you cannot hit this boss. So I have to hit him in this little jewel here, and you cannot hit it with the powered up slingshot. You can kill that boss in a one cycle before he does this animation where he shoots out these bats. But clearly I did not do that. I'm one shot away from it, actually. Alright, moving on to the cloud level. This is the most annoying level in the game, in my opinion. It basically requires you to completely memorize the pattern of every enemy, where to stop, where to jump, exactly. The first couple times you play through it, you just get hit by everything. Alright, here's another one of those little warps, and good thing because it takes us over these storm clouds, and those are super deadly. This part probably took me the longest to memorize than any other part in the game, because it's the only part in the game where enemies actually attack you from behind you, like that guy. Alright. I think this is the hardest boss of the game, as I die to it. And the annoying thing is when you die in the boss, it takes you back to the previous checkpoint, as opposed to just letting you fight the boss again. Alright, let's try that again. That was much better that time. Okay. So this part's sort of weird. You get inside a cloud, and I'm going to attack an airship with my cloud. I'm pretty sure this was not in the novel, but then again, I've never read it, so I don't know. Maybe he flies on a cloud and attacks an airship. I really don't know. The goal here is to keep these missiles from firing, because they can get really annoying very quickly. As you can see, I did a very poor job there, but it's okay. We're gonna carry on. And that time I got a little too close to the enemy, but no big deal. We'll just have to replay the entire cloud level. I'm sure you guys are super excited for that. And like I said, this is the most difficult and annoying level of the game. The final level can be difficult, but there's some RNG based things in it that make it difficult. This level is just skill based, really, and memorization. So in the top left, it shows my score, and then above that it shows a timer. It's kind of interesting. It counts up. It's counting how long I take to beat the stages, so it's got sort of a built-in speed run timer on it, which is pretty strange, honestly, for a game of this era. Normally there's a timer that counts down, limiting how long you have, which I suppose is inverse way of figuring out how long it takes you to beat a level, but I don't think I've ever seen one count up before. Alright, we're back in the floating cloud, and we're going to take on the airship for a third time. I'm going to be a lot more careful this time. I'm going to try to get in the perfect spot here. Yeah, right there is perfect. I find this music really irritating. So, something to note is you can actually run into that portion of the ship after you blow it up and it'll kill you. Yes, that happened to me. Alright, final level. A little bit of memorization here. Alright, we're moving along. Alright, here's where things can get weird. Those icicles at the top are RNG based. Which ones fall is random. So your only hope really is to just run and hope one doesn't hit you. I'm being real careful not to hit that snake. Alright, these birds are also randomly generated. They can come from either side of the screen. If I'm lucky here, I'll get birds that only spawn on the right side. Like that. Alright, there's one final difficult jump here, which is this jump, which I miss. You have to jump right at the edge of the platform. So sometimes I jump too late, and sometimes slightly too early. But hopefully I get it next time. After you make that jump, the boss is pretty trivial. You shouldn't really ever die on him. He's probably the easiest boss in the game. He's about as easy as the squid is on level 1, honestly. Nah. So that was just a platforming mistake on my part. Those are also RNG based, so sometimes they fall at the wrong time. Basically, if one of those falls while you're jumping on the platform, you just die. There's nothing you can do about it. Like that one. That's okay. Luckily, the game gives you unlimited continues, which is pretty cool of it, honestly. Alright, we're past that. And the only thing we should have to worry about now, the next thing we should have to worry about is the ice. If those ice spikes hit me. But usually get a more favorable pattern for the ice than I do with the earlier ones. That one almost got me. Alright, let's see how the birds treat me on this one. Pretty good. Let's see if I can make that jump. And I got it. Alright, I'm gonna wait out this power-up. Okay. Mostly because I was familiar with killing the boss without that power-up, so... And that's it. That's the Adventures of Tom Sawyer, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the ending, and I'll see you guys for next game.